right into it. A driver is, as Microsoft defines it, software that allows your computer to communicate with hardware or devices. Simply right. But why do you even need that? So you've got a device, let's say a sound card, you should be able to just plug it in with no drivers and your music player should generate digital signal that says, subdog or something like that. And the sound card should make that noise, right? Well, actually yeah, that's basically how it works. And if there was only one sound card in existence, it pretty much could. But there's a problem. There are literally thousands of sound cards and all of them will work completely differently from each other. The signal that meant subdog in our last example could mean dinosaur or onion in another. And for everything to work correctly, software makers would need to rewrite their software with specialized signaling for your sound card along with every other card that ever existed and every other card that will ever exist. It would be fine if every single software developer was the doctor. But this is the real world, not some fantasy. So that's what a driver is. It acts as an abstract layer or translator. That way, the makers of your favorite programs only have to interact with the hardware in one standardized language and the driver handles the rest. Sounds relatively simple, but why do drivers cause so many issues then? Well, there are tons of variables that exist for programs on the driver side as well. Aside from our oversimplified subdog example, your hardware is capable of a great deal of amazing stuff, all of which we expect to work absolutely perfectly. Even though standards exist, and even if they weren't there to perfect things like other devices or other pieces of software can cause conflict. And on top of that, separate drivers need to be maintained for multiple operating systems such as Linux OS, Windows 10 or Mac OS. And various flavors of each OS also exist in the world, each of which have their own universal language to translate to. It leaves plenty of room for one of the variants of the driver for a particular piece of hardware to understand an imperfection or two, and helps me at least understand by sometimes a piece of hardware lacks support for the OS I'm trying to use it with, which isn't to say that the lack of an official driver always precludes using hardware on Windows. Anyway, sometimes if you know what you're doing, you can force install one and it mostly works. Driver files are usually .inf files and Vista drivers can sometimes be used on Windows 7 and 8 and vice versa. So pick a correct version of Windows, that is to say 32 or 64-bit, not Pro or Ultimate or whatever. Extract files from the installer and give your manual browse feature and device manager a crack before you totally throw up your hands and give up. This trick can save you some of that sweet bacon with wireless network adapters and other things a handful of times. Speaking of saving things, if you want to save your time the next time you're looking for a nice tech video to watch, then hit the like button and also don't forget to subscribe.